Hey guys, this is Alex from Beats Plus Beer. Today we just got a Heineken in the hand, no craft brews, but I kind of just want to make a video today talking about this because it took me a long time to figure out, and that's a workflow for my MPC one recording into my DAW. Okay, I've never owned an MPC before. I just recently bought this, and I was inspired to buy this product after watching one of my favorite artists' videos, John Bellion. He has an entire video series online of how he made his album, The Human Condition. And if you haven't heard of the album, check it out. It's sick. And the videos are even sicker because he's showing you, like, this is his workflow process. And I thought it was awesome. The guy pretty much does all of his drums with an MPC. He's putting in vocal chops via MPC. He's bringing in like instrumentalists, like trumpeters and whatnot, recording them and then throwing their samples into his MPC and making beats that way. And I just thought it was really cool. And when I saw it, I was like, I got to have one of those. So I bought the MPC one. Um, and I think a lot of you guys, when you bought this, same as me, being new to MPC, you probably thought, okay, I can just run this thing in standalone mode, do all my beats on this, use it as a piece of hardware, and then just hit record on my DAW and record into that. And it's streamlined, really easy. And then you find out it's not, okay? Because working in standalone, like, it's not sending any MIDI, to my understanding. And it's really difficult then in that scenario to slave your DAW, Studio One in my case, to the MPC. So when I hit record, then everything just seamlessly records in and I don't have to do any like clicking into place or anything. And Studio One 5 even has like a MIDI time clock function where I can get the MPC to slave to it, but even that like isn't working really well right now and is introducing latency issues and whatnot. So you got to use the MPC in MIDI controller mode, unfortunately. Why I didn't want to do that is because I didn't want to use my MPC as essentially just like a launch pad or something, right? Like, this is a cool piece of hardware. I want to do my editing in here. I don't want to spend time in the plugin, right? And I'm going to talk about why the plugin sucks in a moment, just feedback for Akai. But first, I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do today to get around working with the plugin and essentially do what we wanted to do in the first place, which is like work with the Akai MPC one like it's in standalone mode. Okay, I'm going to show you first, then I'm going to teach you how to do it. So here in Studio One, I have an MPC template project. Okay, and this is a project that I've already made. And you'll notice right away when this starts up, the MPC lights up and it goes into controller mode automatically. And it does that because, yes, we do have the MPC running as a plugin currently. But you'll notice there's a few things that are going on here. First of all, when I hit play and I hit stop on the MPC, it's playing and stopping in Studio One. Second of all, yes, I have this as a plugin here, but I also have this other track here, which is actually a folder of 16 different tracks that are routed to each of my pads. And you'll notice when I play on each of these, each of them light up because there's a signal coming through them. And that's really important for someone who is working in a DAW or wants to work in a DAW, because that means that I can add inserts on here like my compressors, my EQ, my reverb, whatever I want to do post processing. Even after, yes, I want to use the MPC to like make kicks and make snares and stuff. That's super cool to like layer stuff in there. But at the end of the day, I want to do all my mixing in the DAW, right? And what else is cool about this is, okay, so like you pretty much only have to use a plugin to hit record in here, and then that's it. That's the only time I ever go inside the plugin, and that's perfect. And then I hit record here, and there, I just made a loop, okay? And you'll notice like it didn't record that, right? Which is perfect. I didn't want it to record that because that's not the quantized or syncopated version of that before MPC has like done its swing, and clicked everything into place. I want it to record, after it's done that. So it doesn't record this, but now when I arm these tracks and I hit record, okay, now this is recording all of those tracks individually. And if I was playing all 16 pads, it would record those. And that is exactly what I wanted to do with my MPC when I bought it. And it's working perfectly now. And it took me days to figure out how to do this. So I want to show you guys how to do this, okay? So let's exit out of this. Let's create a new project. And I actually have to close down this project because MPC isn't going to allow me to be running the plugin in multiple projects at the same time. So I'll close this down and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back at the home screen. And I'm going to show you guys how to make that template. So we're going to hit new song here. And as you probably guessed, we're going to add an instrument track and we're going to add the Akai MPC to it, okay? And there you go. Now you have the plugin, okay? And for anyone who doesn't know how to hook up your MPC, first of all, as an instrument, you just go up here, Studio One, Options, hit Add, and then what you would do is receive from MPC1 Public, send to MPC1 Public, and then you can name this as well, whatever you want to name it. But I've already done that. So that's the first thing that you're going to do. Then you're going to come down here to your mix, and you're going to go to Instrument, and you're going to see MPC here. For me, it says MPC 64 because it's the MPC one. And I'm going to hit Expand, and you can see here, these are all my channel outputs, okay? So we're going to click on all these. We're going to check them all, right? Okay. And there you go. So now you have all your channel outputs coming out, right? But you'll notice, let me load up a drum track here. You'll notice that it's all coming out of my output 1 and 2, my stereo track, right? It's not coming out individually. Why is that? Well, first of all, it's because we haven't properly routed it. We've created these, but we need to route them, okay? So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to come up here. I'm going to open up the plugin, and I'm going to go here to my pad mixer, okay? Not the channel mixer, pad mixer. They kind of look similar, but pad mixer. And what we're going to do is we're going to come here to our outputs, and we're going to make each of these, okay? You can scroll along. If yours doesn't look like this, just scroll up. And we're going to change each of these outputs to be output 1, 2, because it's stereo, output 3, 4, output 5, 6, right? Because you'll see that each of these are, in the plugin, they're on their separate outputs. We just have to route those outputs to where we want them to be, okay? And then we're going to create our outputs down here. So I'm going to call this like pad 1, okay? I'm going to call this pad 2. Pad 3, okay? Sorry, yeah, I just went into the automation tab there for a second. But we have our separate pads out here, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to route it so the input to this audio track is those pads, okay? So we're going to go output 1 and 2. So we're going to come down here. Sorry, we're going to come to the input just by clicking that, going to instruments, hitting output 1 and 2 for the first pad. And we'll just keep doing that where it's 3/4 for the next one, and then for the next one, it's 5/6, right? So you can see right there 3/4 5/6. You could do mono as well if you wanted to do mono. You could do mono output, and then when it comes to making these, it's going to list like output 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I just do stereo because I don't know if I'm going to put a stereo sample on a pad. And now you'll notice that those are all on their own, track. You can keep doing it all the way down for each of your outputs. But obviously, if you do 16 of them, I mean, this is going to get pretty cluttered pretty fast. So what I do is I just select them all, and then I right-click, hit pack folder, and I name this MPC audio, and then I name that instrument track MPC VST. Okay. And from there, I mean, you're pretty golden already. Okay, you're pretty good from there. You wouldn't have to do this next step that I'm going to show you if you don't want to. So you can check out if that's all you're looking for. But the next thing that I personally do, because I want to be able to hit play and stuff on the MPC, right? I come over here to the external button. Okay, so if you go to your mix, you come all the way over here. It's the external instruments, and I'm going to click on my MPC1. And what I did here, it's already, let me just remove all these, because I already did it, but I'll show you, and it retains that information, Studio One does. I am going to do a MIDI learn on these to basically teach Studio One like what I want it to do. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to click blue on MIDI learn, and I'm going to hit the record button. And you'll see that this just popped up here. And it's not a knob, it's a button, so I'm going to assign that to be a button, a press release button. Okay, and I'm going to name that record. Okay. And you can't do it with the overdub button, you can't do it with the play start button, but you can do it with the stop and play button. So this is my stop button. And those are the ones that you need anyways. And this is my play button, right? Those are the ones that you need. Okay. If you're using a DAW anyways. Okay. So there you go. You have these buttons in here, and now I unclick MIDI learn, and I right click and I hit assign command, and all the commands that I'm looking for are under the transport area, right? So I want record, right? I want stop, and then I actually want the word start. Let me go to transport again and show you guys, because Studio One uses start as their language for play. Okay. And now that that's set up, now if I come here and I hit play or I hit stop, that's going to play and that's going to stop. Okay. And that's pretty much it. That's how I set this up. So then I can just like very easily, for workflow purposes, record the drums that I just played and move fast and mix quickly. I just want to say this for anyone who like doesn't understand why we want to do this and why this is important, because I just see a lot of responses of people being like, just use the MIDI, or just use MPC as your DAW. The reality is when I look at this plugin here, and Akai, this is feedback to you. When I look at this plugin, this is a DAW. This looks like a DAW to me, okay? I mean, and there's so many things here that are like redundant, okay? Like you have like the piano roll, you have, beats per minute. Why do I need that? Why do I need that? My DAW, I reset beats per minute. Why would I need this to be different? And like, why do I have all these kits down here and stuff to like select from when I have the piece of hardware right here where I can select on there? It makes way more sense to select it on there. And I just felt like almost everything on here is just like redundant stuff that I'm like, I would much rather do that on the MPC on the hardware than be messing around in it here, because once I start doing all my workflow in here, why even own the MPC then? This software is free. You know, I could just download the MIDI packs or whatever of the samples, and then just use this. Like, what's even the point of having the hardware? I bought the hardware because I want to use it as hardware, not because I want to use it as software in a DAW. Okay. That's the whole point behind it. I mean, Akai, you could probably just solve the issue by, frankly, if you just allow MIDI to be sent to a DAW while it's in standalone mode. I bought that like Mio USB to MIDI device that like allows you to kind of skirt it, but like to my understanding, the MPC is not like supposed to be sending any MIDI while it's in standalone mode, which just sucks because, you know, I want to use it in standalone mode and I just want to record from standalone mode. Like, I just need you to set it up so then like the play and stop buttons work. And as well, you know, what would also be nice, Akai? You have really nice pads on your stuff, right? And maybe I don't want to use your plugin. Maybe I want to use Presonus's Impact. You know, this 16 pad thing here, okay? It's really annoying that I can't just easily pull this up. I mean, my $100 Novation MIDI keyboard does that. Okay, I can use it as a MIDI keyboard. If you're going to force me to use your product in MIDI controller mode in order to work with a DAW, at least allow me to use my other plugins with it. That's all I got to say. All right. So that's it. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. Yeah, peace out.